Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. To make this textured fall vibe sweater, you will need a weight 4 yarn and a 6mm crochet hook. So begin by making a chain of 63 for a small, 69 for medium, 75 for large, 81 for extra large, 87 for 2XL, 93 for 3XL, 99 for 4XL and 105 for 5XL. So now you're going to begin by making a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook, and then you're going to continue by placing a double crochet into each chain until the very end. So once you have this first row finished, you're going to chain 1. This chain 1 does count as a stitch, so turn your work over. You're going to miss that very first space because that's part of your chain 1. So you're going to move on to the next space and place a double crochet into that space. Then you're going to place a slip stitch into the next space, a double crochet into the next, a slip stitch into the next, and continue like that until you reach the very end. So here we are now coming up to the very end of the row. I'm going to place a double crochet into that second last stitch, and then a slip stitch will go into the top of your chain 3. So for your next row, you're going to chain 3. This counts as your first double crochet. Then you're going to turn your work, miss that very first space because it's part of your chain 3, and then move on to the next and place a double crochet into that next space. And then you're going to continue with double crochet all the way to the very end. And just make sure that you place your last double crochet into that beginning chain 1 from the last row. So for your next row, chain 1, this counts as your first stitch. Skip that very first space and then work into the next one, place a double crochet, then a slip stitch into the next space, and then just alternate between a double crochet and then a slip stitch all the way to the very end. So I repeated those last 2 rows 2 more times before I did my colour change. So basically I just changed the colour every 6 rows. So here we are at the end of my 6th row. I'm just placing a slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. Just before you finish this slip stitch, grab your second colour like so, and then just pull that second colour through both loops. Just like so. And now just pull your yarn tight and then chain 3, turn your work, and then you're going to place double crochets all the way across and just keep repeating that pattern with 1 row of double crochet, 1 row of the double crochet slip stitch. But of course you don't have to change your colours, you can just keep going with the pattern. But if you do want to copy the sweater I've made, I did 6 rows of the mustard, 6 rows of the white, and just keep going. So you're going to keep going in that pattern until you have the length of sweater that you want. For me, I did 54 rows for the back panel. The front panel is the exact same, only for you do 52 rows. So here's what the back panel should look like, just one big square. I did 54 rows. Now we're on the front panel. I've completed 52 rows. So to begin row 53, chain 3, this counts as your first double crochet, and then you're going to make 16 double crochet for a small, 18 double crochet for medium, 22 for large, 26 for XL, 28 for 2XL, 30 for 3XL, 34 for 4XL and 36 for a 5XL. So now you should have something like this. You're going to leave the other stitches unworked. So when you have your number of stitches worked, you're going to chain 1 and then turn your work. Skip that first space because it's part of your chain 1, then move on to the next and then place a double crochet, then a slip stitch into the next space, and then continue with double crochet and then a slip stitch to the very end. Once you have that row completed, you're just going to fasten off and cut your yarn, and then you're going to turn your piece to the right side out so that the textured side is facing you, just like so. And then you're going to make your second shoulder. I already have mine done. This one is the one we've just completed. This is the second one. So you're going to count from the outer edge in the same number of stitches you did for the other side. Attach your yarn there. Then you're going to chain 3, double crochet all the way across, chain 1, and then do your double crochet slip stitch, and then cut that and leave to one side. Now to begin your sleeves, you're going to make a chain of 47 for small, 49 for medium, 53 for large, 57 for XL, 63 for 2XL, 69 for 3XL, 71 for 4XL, and then 71 for 5XL. So once you have your chain completed, you're going to double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook, and then you're going to place a double crochet into every chain to the very end. The pattern for the sleeves are the exact same as we did for the front and back panels. So you're going to chain 1 here, turn your work, skip that very first space, and then into the next space do a double crochet, and then you're going to alternate between a double crochet, a slip stitch to the very end of the row. So for the next row, chain 3. This counts as your first double crochet, and then you're going to place a double crochet all the way across to the very end of the row. So you're going to repeat the same way you did the front and back panels. I changed my colour after every 6 rows, and keep repeating that pattern until you have 32 rows completed. So keep going until you have 32 rows completed. So here I have 32 rows completed, and I'm just about to start row 33. So now we're going to start decreasing a little bit. So chain 3, turn your work, and now you're going to double crochet 2 together. So that's just a yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, pull the loop through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull your loop through, yarn over, pull through 2. There should be 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. So now you're going to double crochet into every stitch until you have 3 stitches remaining. So here we are now, we have 3 stitches remaining. So once you come to your last 3 stitches, you're going to do another double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. And then into that last stitch, which will be your chain 1 from the last row, you're just going to place 1 double crochet. So you're going to do a further 9 rows in pattern. Just make sure that on every double crochet row you're going to decrease 1 stitch at each end of that row. So for this row that I'm currently doing, there's going to be no decreases. There's only going to be a decrease on the double crochet rows. So now I have my sleeve completed. In total I have 42 rows done. So you're going to fasten off and then put to one side. So now you're going to grab your back panel, make sure that the textured side is facing up. Then grab your front panel and make sure that the textured side is facing down. So you're going to sew your shoulder area of your front panel to the back panel. So you can do that by either slip stitching it together, you can sew it with a yarn and needle, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. So here I have my shoulders all sewn up, so it should look something like this. There's your neck hole and there's your other shoulder. So now you're going to lay your sweater out entirely flat like so. Then you're going to grab your sleeve and you're going to fold it lengthwise. Just make sure that the textured side is facing the inside. So this is the end here that you have decreased, so it's going to be slightly smaller. So go to the other end and just there where the fold is, grab that stitch. This is basically the center part of your sleeve. So you're going to match that up with your shoulder seam on your sweater. Then you're going to grab a stitch marker just to hold that into place. And then you're going to sew your sleeve to your sweater. And then of course you're going to repeat that for the other sleeve. Then you're going to fold your sweater over and you're going to start sewing the bottom edge of your sleeve all the way along like so, and then down the side of your sweater. And then of course you're going to repeat that for the other side. So now you're going to turn your sweater the right side out and you're going to start working on the neckline. So you can attach your yarn to the side stitch, any side stitch really, it doesn't really matter. Pull that yarn through and then just make a knot or attach it whatever way you like to attach it. And then you're going to insert your hook through that stitch. And then you're going to chain 3. This will count as your first double crochet. So now you're going to place a double crochet into the next stitch. And then just keep making double crochets into every stitch all the way around the entire neckline. So I've gone all the way around my neckline. So just to close that round, we're going to slip stitch into the top of your beginning chain 3. Then we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to do a front post double crochet into the next stitch. And then we're going to do a back post double crochet into the next stitch. And just keep alternating between front post double crochets and back post double crochets all the way around that entire neckline. And then when you come to the end, just make a slip stitch into that beginning chain 3 just to close the round. And then once you have that done, you're going to fasten off, weave in all your ends, and you're good to go. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care.